Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all?
May. May.
Oh my gosh, I had this crazy thing that was in my eye. I had to rip my lashes off, but now I'm good.
Now you're good?
Now I'm good, baby.
So we're recording here. So the year is coming to a close. We have the holiday season coming up. I'm so excited for this holiday season and to just wrap up 2020. Wishing everybody an amazing 2021.
Yeah.
And today we wanted to do something different. And it's not because we only have 6 minutes because we had a million and one things going on. It's because we thought about this in advance.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
We definitely thought about this in advance.
Yeah.
This is planned.
Yeah. So, we're the type that talk about scheduling, and we're the type that talk about having a to-do list and checking them off and being prepared. And our episode today, we had a ton of stuff to talk about, but I hate putting out episodes late. And we figured, you know what, we're going to make our last episode of the year on December 23rd. Like, we're going to talk about so much stuff. We're going to make it really special.
Banger episode.
A what? A banger?
A banger.
So we decided today this would be a really good way also to bail us out, but also to give you an inside look of what our members podcast is like. Because every single Sunday, we have been putting out another podcast for the members only. And I know we've talked about it before, and we figured, well, this is a great way to bail us out since we only have 6 minutes to kind of talk a little bit about the members podcast, and then we're going to roll our or just the one we released on Sunday. So you can get a little taste of what the members only podcast is. This way, as we go into the holidays and for the new year, if you want to consider becoming a member, not only will you get your Wednesday podcast and the vlogs, because we're going to start doing more vlogs in the new year. But this is a bonus podcast, and we're doing a lot for the members in 2021, just as an extra thank you, because if people are putting in their cash money, we want to go above and beyond. But we want to give everybody a taste of what an episode is like, so we're going to roll that here in a second. But I just wanted to give a little preface of what you're about to see.
I like that. And also, too, speaking of cash money, because it made me think of B-Money, Cash Money. If you guys don't know who that is, that's our dog, so we give him a million and one nicknames.
But Benji.
Benji. He's getting groomed right now, but it's really interesting because we do the mobile groomer, and she just came with her van. Normally, he doesn't know she's here, but he's now learned. And when I had my mask on, I picked him up. He starts shaking like, and goes, "No, Mom." And then I go, "Here, let's go outside and go pee-pee." And he would not walk. He just wanted back in the house. And I think he saw her in the truck. He knew.
Sandbagged our son?
I sandbagged him.
You can't sandbag the son.
How am I supposed to not sandbag him? What was he supposed to do? And then I handed him off, and he looked at me and I go, "Mm-mm."
Well, he's going to feel so
He's going to look
good.
so clean and precious and... They're my eyelashes I ripped off.
Stuck
They
right
got
to your
stuck
hand.
on my head.
Yeah, we have...
If you can't tell, we're a mess.
Yeah, we've been doing... We never realized just how much the wedding planning was going to consume our lives, and especially planning everything as well with the holidays coming up and just the final... There's so many things we want to talk to you all about, and it bugs me because I know a lot of people use that as marketing. They're like, there's something great coming, or there's things I have to tell. We can't because it's like marketing, but I genuinely like just sharing. But there's a few things that we're working on that we just can't. And it's bugging me, but it's consuming so much of our time.
So much. And I didn't want to say this because it's such a cop-out, but you guys will understand soon.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So until then, I'm just going to keep these on my face.
Because we're everything's normal here.
So normal.
We're not losing it.
We're not losing our mind.
But just real quick before we roll the members podcast, we got some good news because our stamps just came. We had our wedding invitations come, and I got to give everybody a tip who's planning a wedding. There's a gazillion things on the list, and it's all part of the process, and it's been awesome. And one little hack that we've learned is have the person who's making your invitations, if you're going to go that route, because we found her on Etsy.
Yeah.
Have her print him or her on the envelope.
Yes.
So all the addresses and return address is all printed. So all we're doing is stuffing them.
Oh, we're stuffing them?
We're stuffing them.
Together? You and I?
Yeah, you were sleeping when I did the whole thing. I think you forgot. But we had the decorative stamps that came. So we're going to be able to get those in the mail. So hopefully people will get those before the new year just to because the mail's been slow and all of that kind of stuff.
So slow.
Yeah.
But they are going to be sent, and they're going to get there, and everything's going to work because we're all about good energy, and it's all happening.
It is. So yeah.
Enjoy the
any
episode,
last
friends.
words? You've got 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Oh my goodness, why put me on
Make
the
it
spot?
amazing.
Y'all, I am wishing you the most incredible holiday season. Have a blessed time.
But we're coming back.
I know.
This
but
isn't the final one.
Dang it, babe.
No, you take it.
You
There's
take
59
it.
seconds left. What are you going to say?
My name is Alyssa Marie Tabbitt. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you like that, smash that like button.
Now you're speaking my language.
Leave a comment, 5-star reviews if you think that's what we deserve. But we love you, so you should.
Yeah. I don't think I could have said it better. So without further ado, enjoy our members-only podcast, and we're inviting you all on this journey. We want to thank you all. YouTube sent us over the analytics for the year, and I don't know how to thank you all so much. Like Alyssa and I love sharing ideas and sharing about our life, and for all of you who show up every week and who watch our stuff, it's just so cool. So I can't thank you enough, and we'll be talking to you next Wednesday. We're going to do something super special for the last podcast of the year. And if you do decide to become a member, this Sunday we're going live.
Yes.
So you can ask some questions. And even if you just want to give it a try, hop on the live, catch up on some of our old videos, because we've been putting out videos since May in the members group. So you can catch up on like so much stuff over the holidays. And
a lot of content.
Yeah. Promoted membership program? Check. Anywho, all right, we gotta go. We have all this stuff to get to right now, and we're gonna make it up to you next Wednesday with like a banger, mega, huge podcast.
See, it is
to
a
close
banger
out
up.
the year.
A banger, baby.
It's gonna be a banger.
Another one.
Another one. So, all right, everyone, we're heading out. Enjoy the episode, and let us know in the comments what you think, and we will be talking to you very soon.
Love you.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere we go.
What if we change the
We
lyric?
don't really go anywhere because there's a pandemic, so it's just here in the house where we use the owner's tree. Because our furniture still hasn't come, and it doesn't look like it will until the first of the year, but maybe it'll come sooner.
Lies.
The what?
Lies.
We will see.
Hey, at least we have a Christmas tree. I was going to say we should change the lyrics to "It's beginning to look a lot like Listmas."
Listmas? Yeah. Are you Jesus Christ?
No, I'm the Christmas fairy.
You know.
Every now and then I surprise you.
You do. That one came out of what's beyond left field.
Just way out there.
That came out of left field. I wonder where that saying came from.
Baseball?
Well, I mean, if anything, you would say it comes out of right field, because right field, and I don't know if it's the same in the major leagues, but the right field position is the weakest position on the field. It's the least active position.
Huh, so it wouldn't really be coming from left field. Let me look.
We'll see why that is. But to give you a little baseball lesson, shortstop and center field are the most desirable positions where you want to put somebody who knows their stuff.
Oh, is that right?
All positions are valuable, but right field is where you put like your ninth man.
Well, let's see here. It's so weird. I usually always have my laptop, and I forgot it today. Out of left field is American slang meaning unexpected, odd, or strange. The phrase came from baseball terminology, referring to a play in which the ball is thrown from the area covered by the left fielder to either home plate or first base, surprising the runner. Variations include out in left field and simply left field.
Interesting.
Does that sound...
I think someone said that initially and it just stuck, but that doesn't... I guess, like, who cares? Like, I mean, it's stuck forever. We all know what that means.
It's beginning to look a lot like Listmas.
Maybe if you were in a sweater with lights, that would have made more sense, but it's not looking like Listmas.
You know, I saw the cutest little llama Christmas sweatshirt from Target.
Uh-huh.
And I for sure have to get it, but I want to get you some sort of Christmas thing.
I have the llama.
But this is different. You have a cute, we don't have it. You don't have it here.
I mean, if it might come, maybe. But we're both going to have llama sweaters?
Well, this one has like sparkly
Okay.
little, what do you call that? Sleeve. What day is it? Who am I? What's happening?
I don't know. And I'm kind of bummed that we're doing a fueled up and we're
Have
just
no
drinking
alcohol.
normal
This is just
stuff.
water.
And
We're no
Gatorade,
fun.
I know.
Water and Gatorade. Hey, you gotta hydrate, my friend.
Yeah. The thing with Gatorade is it's like, oh, this isn't 0 calories.
It's not? I thought
And
that
it
was a
doesn't
G2.
even taste any different. I literally thought I was drinking.
Which one is that?
One bottle is 36 carbs and 34 sugars. That is not good.
You know, it's interesting because I was drinking this last night and I go, this tastes oddly delicious compared to, like, I felt like I go, for G2, this is really good. Because we usually buy G2, which is the no calorie or 30 calorie one.
Yeah.
So my body could tell. It knew that this was better.
To me, I mean, I did just work out, so I feel like that's okay. If you're ever going to have sugar and carbs right after your workout's the best time.
Is it? Why is that?
I don't know. It does something to you. I think your insulin levels. It helps with recovery or something.
Okay, I'll take it.
I used to know a lot more about this when I really cared down to the detail. Now I'm just proud when I achieve any sort of lifting something heavy.
Have protein drink after workout. That's really all I know.
Yeah, that's why I
It's
had
true,
a little
right?
wrap, a tuna wrap.
Oh, you did?
I'm going to turn into a wrap. That's all we have.
The low carb wraps.
Yeah.
They're delicious though. I'm liking the little tuna wrap situation we've been having on the daily. Literally every day for lunch and or dinner.
Well, it looks like we're basically having a 300 calorie breakfast most of the time, 250 to 300. And then we're having a turkey or tuna wrap, which is like 250, 300. Then we're having the opposite, the turkey or tuna wrap. And then we're having a bowl of soup. And so around 9 o'clock at night, we're only at 1,200 calories. And then we can have like 600-700 more.
I love having that Halo ice cream. It's so good.
I'm just over it.
You don't like Halo?
No. I like the Magic Spoon cereal. And we should reach out to them to be a sponsor. Because they're all over the big podcasts. Because that's how I got it, because of Tim Dillon. But it'd be really fun because I genuinely
Love
like
their
all
stuff.
of them.
But I mean, that's why I think a lot of the companies too, especially that we work with, they always will send the product out so you can use it because they want you to have your own testimonial.
Yeah.
You know, it would make sense.
Well, yeah, because you can't promote anything you don't use. I don't like that.
No, and I was gonna say too, the Magic Spoon, the blueberry is so good. That was the last one we tried because we're like, blueberry cereal.
When you have cocoa and Fruity Pebbles and
So good.
yeah, there's some sort of like the sugar. It's called like allure or something, and it's from figs. And that's how it's a low carb cereal and doesn't have sugar. It's more of a protein cereal.
Right.
So the hard thing though is I haven't heard anyone who's advertising it yet really share what you're expecting.
What do you mean?
If you're a protein shake drinker, then you understand what chocolate tastes like in a protein world. If you're expecting Cocoa Puffs, you're going to be disappointed.
That's true.
But if you're expecting a protein chocolate cereal, it is way better. And it's up there with like the greatest tasting chocolate, but of protein. But it can't compare to real sugar.
Okay, that's a good
So
point.
when I used to get those like muscle milks and stuff, like there's an acquired taste that you fall in love with. It's not like drinking a blended up Snicker bar.
But I think too, your body gets used to that high of working out and then pairing it with the muscle milk, and your body just kind of craves that whole experience, if you will.
You want to hear something super gross?
Oh no.
Back when I used to smoke, I remember when I was working out with Devin, I was still smoking then when I got like the strongest I've ever been in my life, like yoked. It was like probably 2012 or 13.
Yeah.
I would leave working out at the gym, pumped up, strong as hell. I'd go in the car, have a muscle milk and a cigarette on the way home. Isn't that crazy?
How could your body after? I mean, I get it.
When you're young, you could eat garbage and it's fine.
Well, I remember one time you and I went hiking, and I mean, this is probably when I first met you, and I had a cigarette before we went hiking.
That was before I started smoking because I remember thinking like, oh, I like having a cigarette when we party. But I was like, in the day, I was like, why would anyone ever smoke in the day? But then it slowly starts to get you.
It's crazy.
And then it starts going good with coffee, and then it starts going good with when you drive.
That I do remember, though. A cigarette and coffee is a great pair. And also a cocktail. If you have like 2 cocktails.
Well, the last time I ever had a cigarette, it was with a cocktail because as you get older, the thought of coffee and a cigarette is going to make me short circuit. Like back in the day, my nervous system could have handled that high. Now I would like die. Too much stimulation.
That's true. Yeah, it's been a long time. Thank goodness we kicked that habit, but to be young.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually easy to kick once you decided that you're done. Mm-hmm. When you were just kind of doing it. But I think I used the gum.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. I remember that. I think I did too.
Yep.
Because I remember there were a few times I would quit and then I was like, oh, I'll only do it when I drink. And then that literally was the habit. Like I never craved them during just normal life, only when I drink. But then it got to a point where it was just like, you know what it was, I think, for me when my allergies started. And I was just like, this is done. Who needs this?
I just think the lifestyle changed. I actually don't remember even when we stopped, but it's like when no one else you're hanging out with is smoking and you're aware it's bad for you. You're aware it's expensive.
It's horrible, yeah.
So it's like once you can get into that lane and be done with it, it was really great. But yeah, the
yay
gum
for
worked.
us for a long time.
Yeah, that was a terrible experience smoking, but I'm glad we only did it for a couple of years. So, because of some people who do it for 30 and quit, that's still better than continuing to do it. But I feel like we might have been okay because I've heard, I don't know how true this is, that after you stop for about 7 years, your lungs will fully heal. Yeah. So we probably have fully, I mean, I've had a couple here and there of drinking certain nights when you can like grab one. But I don't think having a couple puffs is what they're talking about. I think it's when you smoke a pack a day for 2 years and then you stop. It takes like 7 years.
Well, we don't have to worry about that.
We don't. No, I was going to share. I remember the last cigarette story since I haven't thought about this in a while. I think there was a time when you were working as the shot girl, and there was a friend of you that you worked with on the weekends, and she would only smoke on the weekends when she was having drinks, and you were like, "How do you only smoke when you drink?" Yeah. And but then I remember we got into that.
Yeah.
And then we quit. That's what happened. I got on the gum. I quit smoking completely. Then I started smoking again only when I drank. Mm-hmm. But I could not drink without smoking. So then I started, when I would drink, I would grab nicotine gum. I would chew the gum while drinking. And then I slowly weaned off of that where I could drink without needing a cigarette. And then I never looked back.
So then, for anyone who maybe has like a bad habit or something like that, for you, what do you think is the best way to break a bad habit?
You just have to make the decision. Mm-hmm. You have to really want to, because we obviously know people who are like, even when we're like losing weight, or if someone is trying to lose weight, or you're trying to make more money, or you're trying to quit if you're trying to, we know what you have to do. Of course. It just sucks.
Yeah.
So you have to be so over the feeling that you have to make the decision, no matter how many people tell you, no matter how much.
It has to be in your heart and you're ready to do it, because if not, you'll fall back into it. And I think too, creating new habits is an easier way to break a habit. So, say I want to work out every day. Okay, let's just say it's that. I think instead of, staying in bed on the phone, you're like, okay, well, right when I get up, I'm going to go for a 5-minute walk outside. And that you have to just start with a really, really small habit, because that's kind of what we did here with the walking.
Yeah.
We got into that. And then once you do that, you can habit stack and you can go, okay, well, when I'm doing my 5-minute walk, then I'm going to do weights for 5 minutes. And it's just easy to stack little habits on all of the ones that you already have in your schedule. Because I even know for me, even with journaling or doing like my gratitude journal, reading my pages, all of that, it's easier when I get it in my schedule and it becomes a habit. Otherwise, I won't do it. So I think it's easy to create new habits so you can break the old ones It's just
Yeah.
something your mind can focus on, I suppose.
Well, it's an addiction. No matter what the bad habit is, the habits are addictions. So it's better to be addicted to something positive
Yeah.
because it will bother me to not walk.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
Yeah.
It's almost like the first day you don't smoke, it bothers you.
Sure.
So it's like same thing now. Once we've walked so many days in a row that if we don't, I would
I'm
bother me.
upset,
So
yeah.
I have like an addiction to walking, and then I'm slowly building into lifting
Yep.
out there. I've been doing it a lot
Been
more.
so
So
good.
it's like just slowly building that. But yeah, it's crazy. I think the older we get, it's very eye opening to, as much as I feel we know, there's something about being this age now that it almost feels like I'm like reborn and learning with a whole new set of problems and challenges to overcome. Like you think in your 20s, once you figure it out, but it's like 20 something problems. Then you get to your 30s and now you have a whole new set of decade problems. And you're like, oh, I thought I was over all these challenges. You're like, oh, this is what it's like being an adult. And then I'm sure there's going to be 40 something challenges. And then when you have a kid and like, how do you deal with someone? Like, it's just, there's these new challenges in life that you are constantly, as you grow, have to go, I thought I was over all this stuff. Like now there's new challenges to overcome. And
I remember I've heard a lot of people say this in your 20s, you really care what people think. And then in your 30s, you kind of start to not care. But then when you're 40 and beyond, you literally give 0 Fs. You're just like, I'm no, I just don't care.
well, I think you start realizing that people don't care. Like we think people care about us and people don't. Like people care for what they care. But when you're in your 20s, you think
The whole world
revolves around you when you realize no one's thinking about you.
No one cares. The only person people are thinking about is
themselves.
That's it.
Yeah. So as soon as you stop thinking about that, it becomes easier. We just got to do what's best for us, and then the right people and the right things come into your life, which is great.
Well, and that's going to be interesting too once the world is a little bit more safe and normal again. I mean, really down the line for us being in a new state and eventually going and meeting new people and friends. We can't do that now, but that'll be a cool just chapter as well because I feel like everyone's been really cool that we've interacted with.
Yeah.
But you can only interact so much right now.
Well, then you're not going to be able to build the bond. But
Right.
you're also, what's going to be exciting is moving to a new land, meeting new people. You're meeting people as who you are today.
Yes.
So how cool is it that someone you meet who's 37, who runs a business, and that you meet and has a family and kids, and they invite you to a barbecue, and everybody else there you get to meet, but you're meeting them at their best. And we might have not even talked when we were 21.
Isn't that
But
so
you meet,
crazy?
and so the people that we're going to meet, it's going to be really interesting to meet adult friends. And to be honest, we've never met. Like most of our friends were all in the entertainment business.
It's true.
And we haven't had like I always feel like it's it's not a real land. Like
Yeah.
Los Angeles is not real.
Yeah.
It's like another planet.
Yeah.
And unless you're living there in the acting industry, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But just to like meet a friend who is just, how do you describe it? Where
Normal.
yeah.
Just
Like
a
what's that going to
normal-
be like to live in a place that isn't LA, that you meet someone in Florida who just does something for work, and then they like have friends and they do something, and everyone there is like talking and hanging out, and we're barbecuing, and it's not like in LA where you meet. It's like, well, what are you auditioning for? Do you know this manager and that acting coach? And then, oh, you got to meet this guy. Oh my gosh, like, holy crap, I can't believe this is so-and-so. He was just on the A-list film and now he's in your house. And now you're like, oh, hey. And now you're all weirded out. And then you're like, but he's really cool. And then his girlfriend, and then she brings friends. And you're like, everyone's talking about acting. And then they're like, I have an audition tomorrow. Can you put this on tape? And it's like, you're just consumed. It's just
in
acting
that world,
24/7.
yes, it's all entertainment.
And that's what Johnny Depp, he's like, I love living in France because I just want to like talk to someone about cheese.
Yeah, when you're around it for so long.
Where I don't want to talk about Hollywood. You just want to just talk about like, oh, where'd you get this table? And you're like, oh, that's cool. Oh, your
I carved
grandma.
this.
Where'd she come? Yeah, like it, And then I feel like if you do that in LA, people are like, where are you going with this? Like, we need to get back to what we can do for each other to make it in this industry.
Well, I was going to say, too, a lot in LA, you almost get that vibe of people are looking at other people in a sense of, okay, well, what can you do for me?
Yeah.
Who are you? How am I going to get something? Like, not always, but a lot of times people are just more curious. Oh, you have all those followers. Oh, let's do a story. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds so silly, but that's just kind of how people.
It's the way things are done. It's the way things are done. You know, it's like if you go into different cultures or different groups or different parts of the world, there are ways things are done.
Yes.
And in LA, that's the way things are done. We know the game. We understand it. So we know how things are done.
And that's true too.
We ran in the crew for 15 years. So we know
That's
that.
very true.
And it's also really interesting how awkward this is. This is so funny because
I was just laughing. Are you going to tell this story of what happened?
Because back in the day, when I was serving or whatever I was doing, people would ask me, well, what do you do? And I would be so relentless to tell people I'm an actor, because then they would ask, well, what have you been in? And you got to say, well, nothing. And they're like, oh, okay, well, good luck. I'll have the ravioli, please. And you just feel like a loser.
Yeah.
Like, because no one believes in you and you feel like such a poser.
Yeah.
So I stopped telling people that I'm an actor. And I was like, well, once I work, then I can start telling people I'm an actor. And I was so proud once I was able to say, like, oh yeah, I'm an actor. Oh yeah, what have you been in? I'm on 90210. But then after a while, then you start getting, well, wait a minute. You maybe look familiar. What have you been in? Oh, now to anything else? And then you're this a-hole who's going, you might have seen me in a commercial. I'm on Days of Our Lives, 902, and you start naming stuff.
Right.
Or when I actually got popular on Days and you tell people you're an actor, they'll say, what are you in? And you say Days of Our Lives. And then the conversation, oh, my grandma. And then it becomes like that whole thing. Yeah. So there's many times I just wouldn't tell people what I do for a living because it's just the most awkward thing. It's a losing scenario to tell people you're an actor for a living, at least for me. So I was at the store yesterday. I go up to the clerk and I'm paying for my stuff. And I had a t-shirt on with our texting service phone number. And I didn't remember I really had it on. I had my mask on, I had a hat. Like I went, and he was just like, oh, what's that? And I go, oh, it's my, I run a business. This is what came out of my mouth. I was like, I run a business and this is the phone number. And I'm paying. And he goes, well, what business do you have? And I instantly get hit in a second. I go, I'm an actor, but I'm in Florida. This is going to go down a rabbit hole. I can't say that. Oh, I'm a content creator. Well, what the hell is that? And then it becomes this, like, there's a weird energy if you tell people. I think at least in LA, if I told someone a content creator, an influencer, they'd roll their eyes and go, you're an entitled whatever.
Yeah.
But if you do it in Florida or you do it in Ohio, it's even weirder.
They're like, what?
So I froze. I go, I can't say that. So what came out of my mouth at the time is I go, I produce videos for companies, like commercials and stuff. And he goes, oh, that's really cool. And
what made you think that?
Well, because I kept thinking I make videos. When we go to Disneyland to do the video, I was like, people are going to be YouTubing Disneyland. So aside from our fans and audience and supporters that want to see our adventures, there's that group. But then there's people who are going to be YouTubing Walt Disney World, and our video can come up. And advertisers are putting their product as commercials ahead of our video because people are interested in the content we're making.
Right.
That is a content creator, and advertisers will pay because people are watching your content, just like somebody makes a television show. And there's commercials that run on the content, but we don't have a 1,000-person crew. It's just you and I, and
but
we produce
you make the commercials for the company.
Yeah. So I just didn't want to explain content creator. I didn't want to go, say all this. So it made me realize, I'm like, when people ask what we do in Florida, I almost don't even know what to say. Like, what do you say? You told your friend the other day, I remember, or not the other day, about a year ago, you were on a live, and she had some guy on there, and they were talking, and he's like, who's your friend with the blue check mark? And she's like, oh, and then even she said, she goes, oh, it's Alyssa. She's like does like Instagram stuff, and her boyfriend or fiance is on a TV show. And he goes, so she has a blue check mark because the boyfriend's on the show. And you were just like, I'm a content creator. And he just goes, what the hell is that?
I had no clue.
And so, but that's kind of the whole thing.
And they're from Florida.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to say when people start asking. And if you're at a barbecue, it's a great story
Yeah.
to sit and have a beer and talk about our lives.
Yeah.
But in a quick interchange, if someone's in an Uber or something, hey, what do you do? I don't know. I make furniture. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's going to be
You could say you're a YouTuber, a podcaster.
I'm just too...
I'm in radio. I'm in audio.
I genuinely feel that we're in the same exact position where people are instantly gonna go, oh, you're a podcaster, you're a YouTuber, and they're gonna have this rolling of the eyes, and then if they look you up, or but because you can't actually prove to them by a known source. The only way that they're going to look at us and go, oh wow, you actually have like a YouTube and you actually do this thing, is post conversation. In real time with acting, every single person knows Days of Our Lives. So at least that was at least it kind of made the conversation seem like I wasn't like a lunatic. Because I'd say, oh, I'm an actor, but I did switch it where I would say I'm an actor on a soap opera. And they would go, what soap opera? And then I would say Days of Our Lives, because I felt like a douche saying, I'm an actor on Days of Our Lives. I didn't like how that made me feel. So I'd say, oh, I'm an actor on a soap opera.
I'm a soap hunk.
I'm a soap hunk. So I would say, yeah, if I said, hey, I work on a soap opera, and then they would say, what soap opera? And I was like, well, since you asked, because I know you're going to know this, you either watched Friends,
right,
or because Days has been around for 87,000 years. So I would say, oh, on Days of Our Lives, and then 99 out of 100 people would say, oh my God, my grandma, I used to watch that as a kid, and like blah, 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 blah.
You know, it's so crazy how the younger generation really knows about Days because of Friends. I remember one of the first viral TikToks we had, I think it was I did some relationship video, and there were a lot of pictures and videos of us, and people in the comments started going, oh my gosh, Days of Our Lives. But there was this huge sub-thread that was about Friends, and someone goes, oh, I know about Days of Our Lives from Friends. But then all these Gen Zers thought that Days of Our Lives was made up for Friends.
Yeah.
They didn't know that it was a real show. And so like there's this whole extra side conversation going on with all these kids who didn't know, and they're like, oh my God, it's real. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So it's just so funny. Because of Friends, they knew about it. I mean, most people know what Days of Our Lives is, but they're younger, so... Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I just thought it was so funny. I was like, huh.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And it's, and I even remember one more step of it too. There was a time I used to tell people that I work on a soap opera, and they would ask me, what do you do on it? And I would say, I act on it. And then they would, so it was like I went through all these different iterations of how to tell someone what I do for a living. And at the time, the best thing I got to was, I'm an actor on a soap opera. What soap opera? Days of Our Lives. Oh my God, my grandma used to watch it. That's pretty cool. I was like, yeah, man, well, that's awesome. Hey, tell her you met Sonny. Oh, I will. Like, and that was the end of it. I go, great. What a great, so I was perfect. But now, not being on the show...
You create commercials for companies.
But what do we say now? Because I obviously can't, I don't want to say I'm an actor because I have a funny feeling. I say, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm an actor. Oh, yeah? What have you been in? Well, I worked on Days of Our Lives for 10 years. Oh, and you're acting here? Well, no, I'm creating content here. So you used to be an actor. So you're a former or retired actor? No, I'm an actor still. I'm going to act. I'm just like in a phase of my life where I'm creating.
Let's say you work in entertainment.
What do you do in entertainment?
I work in the content creation branch.
Here's my badge. This gets me into the East Wing branch of the content creation.
What do you guys think? How can we describe this? Or we just normalize content creation. You just say, yeah. Or you could say you're an entrepreneur.
Oh, God.
That's the worst. That could mean so many things.
The only reason this is a big deal for me is because I felt like a fraud when I felt like a fraud telling people I was an actor before I ever made money acting. Right. I felt like a fraud, and people would look at me and they'd be like, you're a loser. In their minds, you could see it. They're like, you're never going to make it. Yeah. Like, you're a loser and you're not an actor. So I remember that feeling. And then I remember telling people that I'm an actor and what I do. Then I felt like I was bragging. So I had to find, I don't want to feel like a loser, and I don't want to feel like I'm bragging. You know what I mean? So
It's
so
because
I
it's
found,
such an interesting career. There's a lot of like glamour that surrounds it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you can tell people if you were a doctor, you wouldn't feel like you're bragging. You earned that, you worked really, but there's not that like,
there's no levels of doctor.
right.
Everyone goes, oh, you're a doctor. Like, people go, oh, doctor, I get it. You either work on feet, you work on nose, you're a doctor.
Yeah.
There's levels of actors. Meaning the guy that I was, that only thing on my resume was a 2-second part in medium, and I'm an actor. So people instantly go, statistically, when you say you're an actor, they're just like, no, you're not.
Right.
And then you have to humbly, because then they're going to feel like crap if you just go, I'm an actor, and they go, oh yeah, what have you been in? I was like, well, for 10 years on days, and I won an Emmy, holy shit, then they feel stupid. So it's a trap. So it took me years, I found out that I'm an actor on a soap opera. What soap opera? Days of Our Lives, and it worked. So now I got to figure out in a quick, like Uber ride or a clerk, what do I do for work? But yet again, when you say entrepreneur or you say anything, if you say entrepreneur, people be like, what, you like printed some t-shirts? Like, what kind of entrepreneur are you? Because there's still levels of entrepreneur. There are people who make $100 a year as an entrepreneur,
You know what you could
and
say?
people who make 10 billion.
Yes, very true. You could say you produce a podcast. Podcasting is very big. And
They're still gonna look at us like we're losers.
I don't know
I'm gonna
who
go
you're
back
talking
to the days that I was serving, and they're gonna go, everyone has a podcast. Yours probably isn't successful. And I'm like, well, no, it is. Like, we actually make a living from it. Like, we even told the owners of the house.
Yeah.
He's like, well, so what do you guys do? I said, well, I used to be on a soap, but I was like, we produce content now. He goes, do you do that full time? We're like, yeah, it's our full time business. I was like, we have a few other things that we do as well. So all of it together pays our bills, and we do it for a living. And he was like, wow. Like, he was so surprised, but he is in the entertainment business himself.
He's
and
a
he directs,
director.
so he understood that. But I'm just, yet again, as we hit our 30s, we don't care what other people think, which I don't. But in that quick interchange, I just don't want to have to explain myself or go through an emotional roller coaster. I just want to tell people, like, I should just say like a beloved job, like teaching or something. I should just be like, oh, I'm a teacher.
Don't lie.
I told people that when I was on The Price is Right.
What, that you were a teacher?
Yeah, because the producer of The Price is Right came into Outback Steakhouse, talked to the bartender, and goes, if you get 20 of your workers here to all wear their serving shirts, we will guarantee that one of you will be picked to go on to the four that what do you call that, contestants row?
Yeah.
And so we knew one of us were going to go on as a chance to win. But when we were being interviewed, they interview, go through this huge process, because they pick, they don't randomly pick, they interview. And I said, well, if I'm going to say I'm an inspiring actor, I was like, oh, they're not going to like that.
Right.
So I made up this whole story that I was a school teacher and that I cared about. I was like, oh my God, 5-year-old kids. And like I made this like a story up to try to like get their heartstrings.
And it didn't work.
And no, they picked the
aspiring actor.
Yes. He was an actor. He was the guy that I looked up to because he was the one that was like the coolest server there.
Oh, he worked at the restaurant with you.
It was all 20 of us that worked there, but he was like the cool kid that knew all the parties, had a famous friend. Like anytime we'd go places, like it was just like a dream, a 21-year-old's dream. So he was like the coolest server. And he like did a cartwheel down the thing, like just like a goofball.
Yeah.
But he was picked, and then he got picked last, and then he didn't guess correctly, so he just never got on stage to try to win a car or anything.
You know, now that I think of it, you would actually be really good on The Price is Right, because you know numbers.
Maybe.
I feel like you're pretty accurate. You always know.
But I've played, and like when you watch at home, I'm never.
Really though?
I mean, I'm like, all right. Like, I know that a bag of Tide Pods are $10.99 or something crazy.
But I just feel like there are a lot of conversations we'll have, and I'll be like, what do you think the number is? And you always are literally right there.
Maybe just in general, but I feel back in the day I was probably better then because I was actually penny pinching going to the grocery store. When I was serving tables, I was like, oh crap, I got $70. Like, I need to get... So I had to really know the prices. And then as we as I started making
That's
money and
true.
stuff. That's one of the benefits that I've realized about making more money is grocery shopping becomes
Easier.
easy because you don't care if it's an extra $50 every time you go.
Yeah.
Like, but when you're serving, every penny counted. So I was very aware of the chicken price. I was aware of every price. And then once you start making a little money, that was one of the things that got easy. You're just like, whatever it was.
You know, I saw this tweet where this girl was explaining, she goes, to all of the rich writers writing in scripts that people that, you know, are broke, just overdraft all the time. They're like, no, they're like, we know exactly what's in our account because you don't want to overdraft. You literally can't. I just remember doing that when I was young too. Like every dollar is like, okay, so this can go to this can go to this, because you want to make sure everything's covered. And it's just interesting. I go, huh.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to, because you do. That's one of the things they always ask rich people to try to make them feel out of touch. Ricky Gervais did that in, and I'm talking really rich people, like rich, they'll ask, you know, like Ellen DeGeneres, or they'll ask Ricky Gervais, you know, someone will try to put him on the spot and go, how much is the gallon of milk? Because someone like Ricky Gervais hasn't shopped for his own milk for probably 15 years.
Right.
So you would go, you know, he made a joke. He goes, I'm not sure. Here's $1,000. Go get it for me.
I love him.
But,
He's so funny.
but yeah, it's supposed to make you out of touch because you don't, because you wouldn't know. But those are things you stop doing. Like, you don't want, if you have the money, why would you want to go grocery shopping if you don't enjoy the process?
Sure.
You know, it's just the time thing. That's what switches. You don't want to spend the time to go there.
Doing that. Well, that's like when I was working as a personal assistant and executive, I would do the personal jobs as well. And going and doing all of these different errands or going to the grocery store, she was busy running her business. She didn't have time to go do that. It makes sense. You want to pay someone to go do something that, you know, is best for them so that their skill set, what they're best at, they can.
Well, they get paid more.
Yeah.
When you start, that was the transitions. Like when you start, you know when to quit and your job to do your business full time. When you start losing money because of your job.
Yes.
If you know that in an hour and a half that you can make $400 in your business, you cannot go to the grocery store instead of staying and working for an hour and a half making $400. You pay someone $30 to go grocery shopping for you so that you can make the $400. But if you're going to just sit home and watch TV, then you don't want to go give someone $30 to go do that for you, because now you're losing $30.
Right.
But if you're going to make $400 by not going, that's
sense.
when you go, oh, well, I can't grocery shop anymore because I'm losing money doing it.
Well, on the flip side of that, that's why I ended up quitting that job, because the other business that we were working on, it ended up like costing me more money to not be able to be available for calls and to go to meetings. And I was like, it just wasn't worth it. So, I mean, that was a great reason to leave, of course.
Yeah.
You know, but at first I was like, oh, I could do both for a while. And then you just couldn't.
Yeah. And that's the good thing. And that's always the scary transition that you have to, because that's basically what we're in right now. I've only felt this one other time in my life. And that was when I put in my 2 weeks at Outback, because I booked some commercials, had a savings. And I was like, I got 2 years.
Yep.
And I'm going to book something, or I got 2 years to do it. But if I dedicate every single day to it. Now it's different because we have an income.
Right.
But it's the same thing, that the job, the employee job is gone. So that guaranteed paycheck is gone.
Yep.
So it's an interesting concept where you're like, oh, every day matters.
Yeah.
You can't be lazy because every day matters. And I like that feeling because it's just interesting.
It just gives you more, more of a reason to just really go for it every day. There's a different energy. You have to make it happen.
Yeah.
Even if you're not inspired, you have to do it.
Exactly.
You know, so you're constantly building momentum, which is great.
Yeah. And it gives you the time too, because I was even thinking the other day of, just because all the stuff that I've been watching, I've been on this action kick. I love action films. It actually bugs me, and it's something I should really focus on doing. but I'm like, I don't know if I should really focus that hard, but it would be cool. But being an action guy in a lead, maybe not a superhero, like that's kind of, I mean, that's obviously awesome, but being a dirty cop or being the good cop or just anyone who's like the Training Day, like those gritty shooting guns and like, fighting, and you have a shaved head and a beard. And I always wanted that because I was the like young pretty boy at 18, 19. So I was like, once I get to be like a man and I'm getting my thick beard and like I'm like a man now, like I could shave my head, get buff, take guns, get a little like fake scar put in.
God.
And then I'm just like saying things like, like, come on, Mendez, we know it's you.
Do you remember our psychic, Sherry, said that when it comes to acting for you, she saw the detective. Right?
This is poison. Mendez. I knew it was you.
Oh my gosh.
Mendez. And then, you know what I'm saying? Except I die in this one. I want to be the hero.
I thought you weren't an actor anymore.
Well, how am I going to explain to the clerk? I was like, well, I do act on the podcast we have. So you're not paid when you... No, just give me my stuff.
You're going to say, I'm an actor. I'm going to do some really cool action stuff in the future.
This is a terrible joke. I'm an actor. Oh, really? What have you been in? Empty out your drawer. Oh, my God. I'm just kidding. See, I'm an actor. I'm sorry, officer. I'm an actor. I'm gonna be an action star.
Can I ask you some questions? I'm a method actor. I'm gonna be a cop. Dirty cop. Are any of you dirty cops?
Any of you dirty cops?
No, but what I was saying is Sherry had said she saw you as like the detective, or no, maybe it wasn't Sherry. It was the astrologer, Susan. She kept seeing in your charts when she was reading our charts.
Oh, yeah.
That you had like detective, cop stuff in your future of acting, if that's the route you go. But I could so see you in a show like that as like the detective.
Well, the thing, because that's basically the two things that I would be completely ecstatic about. Like genuinely, like could not sleep waking up the next day is to do comedy or action.
Totally.
Like I did 10 years of drama.
Yeah.
So, obviously if you could be a lead in some HBO show or something, that the drama would be cool, it would be awesome. But to have fun, to not be like an artist that is like mastering the emotions, but just to like go fight guns, run around, like your day at work is like running after a car or being in a car chase. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Or doing a comedy where there's no stress, where you're like, I don't have to think about someone dying. I don't have to think about trauma. I'm just like this funny guy who's just like, hey, making jokes.
It's fun, yeah, light.
It'd be fun. So a detective, but I couldn't be a detective when I was 21. No. I've never auditioned for any of that because I was always too young for doctors, lawyers, anything cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much, when I was auditioning, it was all high school or college. And the in the relationship guy.
Yeah.
The boy next door.
The boy next door.
I gotta fix my hat.
Boy, were you? I know. I was looking at it. It looked funny. Looked like it was falling.
I had this reel that I wanted to make one day because, and I've changed, like I've grown up, so I don't think it would be an issue. But there was a time where I was just always the boy next door, boy next door, boy next door, and everything I auditioned for. And I wanted to make a reel where I was playing all these different characters. So I was basically sitting down with my agent. And he was like, you got to stick to the pretty boy thing. It's like working for it. And I was like, no, but I have so much more to give. And he goes, you're the pretty boy. Stick to it. You're going to be fine. I'm like, fine, whatever. And then I go from set to set. And you see me like as a Marine. You see me as a doctor. And you see me like change through makeup and all this stuff where like that reel shows that I can play anything. And then at the very end, you just see my hand knock at the door. And this like girl opens the door or whatever. And she goes, oh, hi. And she's like, what's your name? And I was like, oh, I'm Freddie. I'm the boy next door. I just moved in. And like that's how you like end it.
That's
so
cute.
You're basically calling it back, but I like went through, but I wanted it to all be shot in a take. Like remember Joyner Lucas?
Why do I know that name?
I'm feeling my set because I wasn't
the
blessed with no
rapper.
Uncle Phil. Yeah, he did a what's his name? Joyner Lucas or something?
I think it is Joyner Lucas.
Joyner Lucas. If you're a rap fan, you probably know that. If you're not,
Yeah,
it's a really good. And this came after my idea. Not that this is just how I saw it. Similarly looking. He basically is doing an homage to Will Smith because he's his favorite person, and he was playing every single one of Will's iconic roles. But he was moving from set to set and changing into them and playing a different character, and that's what I wanted to do, where the camera just pans. So I like hop in and I'm like, get on the ground, we're doing it, and then like you rip this off and then you switch into like, oh hi, like, so that you're not even taking time to get into character. Not only am I playing these 6 different characters, I'm doing it all within 2 minutes. I don't need prep time. I can go from psycho to nice to all this stuff. And I was like, what a cool idea. And he proved the concept years later that that's what I want to do for the reel.
Dude, what a cool TikTok that would be too. I mean, I know that would be so much time and money to go into a TikTok, but it would be really rad.
There is nothing that I'm seeing about acting on TikTok.
Huh.
I don't even think young kids anymore are going, like, of course there's people who love acting, but I don't think it's as pedestaled as it was in our generation, because they are looking at the Logan Pauls, the Charlie D'Amelios. They're like,
but you know what I do see a lot though is I see the acting challenges, and people do them.
I never see those. I want to do an acting challenge.
They're so cool. I'll have to show you, because I've always saved them. I'm like, these would be so much fun to do. And then there's a lot of musical theater on there, a lot of singers, which, you know, kind of goes with it. But yeah, they're acting challenges. But I get what you're saying. I feel like because of social media fame, movie star fame isn't as popular, dare I say?
Yeah, because the road is much harder for the same outcome.
But there aren't new movie stars. There really aren't. Like, who do you know in the past 5 years that's like a new up and coming movie star?
But at a level like a Chris Pratt. Like, Chris Pratt became a movie star in the past 5 or 10 years. Like a movie star. Mm-hmm. Gal Gadot became a movie star. Jennifer Lawrence became a movie star.
But I'm saying this new generation, I feel like you don't really see that.
Jennifer Lawrence is a lot younger than we think, but other than
that's true. But she's been working for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't think, I don't know who I don't know. I don't know where the new movie stars are.
Well, there are all these kids that are on TikTok. Addison Rae, she's
going to do... Who's booking the stuff? Where are all the high school and college movie stars?
Well, what's interesting, so we watched... He's snoring, poor baby. So we watched this movie last night called Songbird, and it was interesting at first because we're like, oh, they call it C23. So instead of C19, C23. And we thought it would be really cool because it was kind of like what was going on in our world. But the 2 lead kids that were younger, playing their 20s, they were both really famous. One was from like a Disney show and the other was from Riverdale. And they each had like almost 20 million followers, which shows they're massively famous. But like, you didn't know who they were. They're not in new movies coming out that...
Here's what it is. You just nailed it. Not to interrupt you.
Yeah.
It is, there are pockets of fame that did not exist back in the day. Mm-hmm. So there was you were either famous or you were not famous. And now, to those 20 million people, that lead guy is the most famous guy in the world. Girls will faint. And then it's interesting too, because even with our audience, like we have like micro fame, mm-hmm. but to the people who know us, we're no different than a Leo to people who know, like, or me from Days.
Sure.
It's a different, obviously, genre. Like, people know Leo's way more famous because of how many people know him.
Right.
But people meeting me or Leo, if they're a fan, are going to feel the same way.
Of course.
But back in the day, you needed all of mainstream. The reason I don't know this guy is because he was famous from Riverdale, and I don't watch that. And his 20 million fans, why would I be a fan of a 23-year-old guy?
Exactly.
Like, why would I be interested? So I don't know him because he's not mainstream A-list.
And all the attention, though, is on social media. There's so many people that are so famous, and they are actors, famous actors. And we don't know because, like you just said, they aren't mainstream, but they're famous on social. They're famous on their shows. I just feel like back in the day with media in general, there were the paparazzi that were taking the pictures for magazines or online blogging, which kind of first started. Like, remember Perez Hilton?
Yes.
He was the one who started this whole online thing. But before that, you would pick up the magazine I did at the grocery store and you'd buy that. That's how you get your news and hear what's going on. Or if your favorite star was on the front of Glamour magazine and had this big spread, that's how you know who these people are. Now, that is just like old news.
Well, the paparazzi and these famous people, that magazine Glamour was our Instagram feed back then.
Yep.
Except the celebrities weren't taking the photos.
Yep.
But then there's also ones that are staged. There's a lot of that goes around too for the publicity. But yeah, I just don't know if mainstream, there's going to be obviously a few that come through mainstream. Yeah. But now, like we mentioned, how Warner's is putting their stuff online or on HBO Max, like the whole industry is changing.
Yeah.
And all I know is I would bet on having your own following is your leverage.
But we've seen that with all these TikTokers. Addison Rae got cast in He's All That. So they're doing She's All That based off of the original, but it's flipped. So she booked that. She's never, I don't think, been in anything. She has a huge following. And paparazzi follow her. Now, I mean, paparazzi is live and well. They sell their pictures nonstop, but it's, to the online sources, also to actual physical magazines as well. But I see all these videos and they just are chased. They'll be at like different restaurants and it's just all these TikTokers. Now, granted, they're young and I think they go out going, oh, I know I'm going to be recognized. I know I'm going to be chased.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I would have loved that.
But I saw this video caught of Addison Rae and she's just on the street in LA and these girls run up to her and go, oh my God, can we get a picture with you? And she's like, yeah. Just hold on 1 second. She goes, I have to film this TikTok. And then she sets her phone down and she starts doing the dance or whatever. And she does a TikTok and it was the most awkward thing watching it. But the girls are looking at her like, oh, you're so cool. And she was just dancing on the side of the street. And like, I have to show it to you because it was so cringy, but that's just like life now.
Well, the thing is that is she going to be a good actress? Because if she's a good actress, then that's a winning formula. If she's not good and the company knows that, but they go, it doesn't matter. As long as we make a mediocre film that her 20 million followers will watch, we'll make a profit. And that's all that matters. Because I really think back in the 50s and 60s, I didn't study film enough or Hollywood. I'm sure there's people who know way more than I do about this. But I can only imagine that, of course, the marketing and the dollar ran it. But it was also about the art. I think people went to movies to watch an artful film. Like the independent films is like what I feel things used to be for these big blockbusters that just became the marketing machine. Like market it, run it in China, run it in the US, run it around the world. What has global appeal? Let's spend $300 million and make $1 billion. Right. And they're pumping these out. And I heard this about 5 years ago. They're just like, why go through the casting and all the BS and all the people and all these things? Why would a studio make a $20 million film, spend the same amount of time shooting it to put it out and make $20 million? Why would they do that 50 times throughout the year, deal with all the actors, all the production, all the locations, increase their chance of a problem?
Right.
When they can go, well, let's not make 10, $20 million films. Let's scratch that. Let's make one $200 million film and make sure it does $1 billion. And so all these little movies are gone. People aren't making them because if you are, you're not going to make money.
No.
You got to find people who are passionate about the story, and they're like, look, and it's going to take 20 million, but hopefully we're going to make 50 million on it. But I love this story, and people are around it. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that's happening as much. So these low budget films are going to come back where people want to watch real raw stories,
right?
And you get lost in a film.
Yeah.
Because as much as I want to watch Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I'm watching Dwayne in a movie.
Totally.
I'm not going to get lost. But if you watch a bunch of no-name people, you can get lost in a beautiful, cinematic, artful, heartfelt story that moves you. That's cool.
That's why I like watching unknowns, because it allows me to fully immerse in the story and just go, oh. Because when I'm watching, like, if Jennifer Aniston's in a movie, of course I'm going to like it, but I go, that's Jennifer Aniston and that's Adam Sandler. and I know that they're massively famous and that they're not like Michelle and Bob.
Yeah.
Like I know that they're just I know that they're these famous people acting in a film.
But some people you look forward to. Like when we saw
Sure.
Seth Rogen's American Pickle, I was really impressed with that. It wasn't that good of a movie. It wasn't really like funny.
The
but he played
beginning
two
was pretty
characters.
good though, yeah. I mean, he did great though. He did
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been watching a lot of good films lately, and then there's just been a couple that haven't been good. Like,
And by the way, guys, that movie Songbird wasn't that great.
yeah, don't waste your money. It's
I wouldn't recommend
yeah, I wasted $20.
it. You were so upset.
Because I thought it was gonna be great. I was like, oh, they're making a movie about like the
Yeah.
future of what this pandemic could be, or the next strand, but it was just so low budget that it
But with all of these famous people, Demi Moore, Michael Bay produced.
It
all
was
these,
bad.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was not good.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad.
I know.
I just didn't care about the story at all.
I don't know. Just the whole thing was not good.
No.
No,
And
no,
I gotta
no.
tell you too, I'm usually with all of the people. Usually if someone says Tiger King's good, it's gonna be good. When the whole world's obsessed with something. We watched Undoing.
Yeah.
Eh.
It was a good watch, and I get why people would like it, especially if you like Big Little Lies. It was identical. The same vibe.
The same
You know?
tone of it. Like, I get it, but I guess I was just kind of like, well, what was the point of it? Like, I didn't understand. Like, I don't want to ruin it for anybody because I know a lot of people liked it. And there are parts of it I like.
Yeah.
There's things about it. Like, it wasn't trash.
It was an enjoyable watch, I'll say that. Like, I was like, okay, we'll watch
I
this.
didn't quit after 3 episodes.
Yeah.
I finished it.
Yeah.
And I was excited to finish it, but I just felt the ending and just everything. I was just kind of
Like, really?
like, what was it? Like, why? Like, why was this
Like,
made?
I invested all my time.
Why was that made?
I don't know.
Like, I get, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand what I was supposed to get from it, I guess.
Yeah, I
you
get
know,
what
in an
you're
action
saying.
film, for every guy, we're just like, oh, we're that guy. Like, we're Dwayne. Like, I can ride a motorcycle. I can shoot a gun.
Oh, is that what you guys
I
think when
can-
you watch it?
Oh, yeah. We want to be that person.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
even if the point of an action film when it's done well is you were just exhilarated, there were twists and turns, people are undercover, and then it all works out, and then you're like, oh, awesome. There's
Yeah.
like a point to it.
Yeah.
I just felt with Undoing or a comedy, you're meant to laugh.
Yeah.
Or if there's a movie about a story, you're like, oh, this is about the love story. Like, I just didn't understand the point of this.
I mean, it was supposed to be that mystery where you're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, a good mystery is like, what did I watch like a year ago? Had a huge cast. I want to say The Kingsman or something, but I think the lead, I don't know, it wasn't The Kingsman.
Where was I when you were watching
I don't know,
that?
but it was just a mystery, but it kept getting better. Like, it's kind of like, this is the only spoiler I'll give. It's like when you first think, well, it's probably this person, it is. It's probably this person.
That's what was interesting, though, with even Big Little Lies. It kept you on this journey that you were watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that was way better than The Undoing.
Big Little Lies was way better, but didn't you know what happened? And that was the exciting part, is that you saw these guilty people living in a life hoping not to get caught.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Or if you don't know who did it, but it shifts so many times that you're like, who is it? This is crazy. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, what? This was just kind of like, it's probably him.
The whole thing was just following Nicole Kidman living like her dream role. That's what you were saying.
Yes, I felt like I couldn't let go of Nicole Kidman, just like right before the cameras roll and be like, I'm so excited for this scene, guys. Like, it just seemed like she was just so happy about every scene.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I like her as an actress. Just everything about it for some reason just didn't connect with me.
You just didn't love it.
I just don't understand, like,
Well, the
what it was
new
about.
movie I would love to watch tonight is that Emily Blunt and Jamie Dornan. Headstrong farmer Rosemary has her heart set on winning her neighbor Anthony Reilly's love. The problem is, Anthony seems to have inherited a family curse and remains oblivious to his beautiful admirer. Stung by his father's plans to sell the family farm to his American nephew, Anthony is jolted into pursuing his dreams.
I wasn't listening. What?
Look at the movie poster. Come on.
Wild Mountain Thyme.
Is it thyme or is it thyme?
I think it's thyme. I think it's a. I think that is a seasoning.
Oh, is it? Well, I was going to say, is it thyme or thyme?
Thyme is
How
thyme.
do you pronounce?
Thyme is a seasoning.
But wait, let's hear.
The life we live.
Time.
Oh, you are right. Oh, I sound so silly.
But what is? Can you look up what is thyme?
I think it is a seasoning. It's an herb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the cleverness of the poster?
I don't know.
Why is it called that? A wild thyme?
Wild mountain thyme.
Is it like a thyme field? Does he run
green.
a thyme field?
It's green like the herb.
Or do you spell thyme like that back in the day? Like remember on a root beer, a Barge's root beer, it was spelled differently?
Yeah.
Tyme or something?
Wild mountain thyme. I don't know. Well, maybe we have to watch it to learn.
We will. Well, let's go walk because
I know
we only
it's
have
getting
another
late. I
hour
was
of
worried.
sunlight.
But we sure love you guys. Thanks for listening. Let us know below if there are ever any topics that you want us to cover. You know, we love to hear from you, and that's fun.
We love talking about whatever. We like I like going in rabbit holes.
Oh gosh. Well, let's do it next time.
Oh wow.
Wow, guys.
Good way to end it. All right, everyone. Have a good Sunday.